Good morning, everyone. Had to wait for the camera crews already. I just can't believe they're going to spend all that time ready to put this face on camera. But welcome to the renovation and reopening to Alligator Park. Well, I think the best way to start a great event like this is with blessing the park. I think it's extremely important. I think we all know why we're here anyway. And so with that, I'd like to call on Ms. Trimmy to call on the pastor for the blessing.
Well, you're a little taller than me. Can you hear me? Well, I'm not going to say a whole lot right now, but I'm going to ask Pete Miller if he would come and bless us all.
Lord God, I just come to you today, Father, just thank you for this beautiful day, Lord God, and I thank you for this beautiful park, Father. Lord God, I just pray that you would just continue to bless this park, Father, and the people that prepared it, Father, the people that worked so hard to get it back going, Lord God. And I just thank you for what it means to our community, Father, and continue to bless our community. In your holy and precious name I pray. Amen. If you would, can you stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Again, welcome. My name is Dane Boland. I'm the Assistant Parish Administrator for the Cowshay Parish Police Jury. This is not on my script, but I just need to turn around and say, wow. I think this is no offense to my bosses here, but this is much better than being in the office. And I appreciate them letting me out today. With that, before we get too far along into the program, I'd like to introduce a couple of people. One is my boss, Mr. Brian Bean, my Parish Administrator. Also, Ms. Sandy Trimmy from District 11 is here. And then Judge Barish, our Parish President. He's here today also. Again, great day. Before I turn it over to those folks to say a couple of words and then learn more about the project, just want to kind of tell you from the heart, this is not my first time in Alligator Park. My wife and I get in our Jeep south of Lake Charles, way down almost by Cameron, I guess. And we drive up here on the weekends. And we did that a lot over the last several years. It's just a beautiful park. And then I started thinking through all the issues we've had in reopening the park and what it's turned out to be. I start thinking of alligators. And people say, well, Dane, what do you think about alligators? Well, I hunt alligators, and I got a camp in Cameron. But I wondered if they really named Alligator Park, if they knew why they were going to name it. And some of you probably know more about the history of that than I do. But one thing about alligators is it's probably the most resilient creature ever to roam this earth. And that kind of ties to Alligator Park. This is a resilient park and a resilient community with all the flooding issues we faced. I thought that was ironic when I was driving up here today. I'm like, that's why they named it Alligator Park. You couldn't stop them. They just kept coming on. And so it turned out to be beautiful. From the entrance, when you came in, it's changed from the pavilion, which is extremely nice. And I'll call on some folks in a minute to tell you about more of what has changed. But again, beautiful job. It's great to be here. Thanks for allowing us in your community and having this beautiful park. With that, I would like to call on our parish president, Mr. Judge Barish, to say a couple of words about the park.
Thank you, Dane. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here under these circumstances because the last time I was here, I was in office 2 months, March of 16, and that was my first trip to Alligator Park. Well, I couldn't make it. But I've seen it through that, and I've seen it through the 18 months later, the next year. And they say that setbacks pave the way for comebacks. And you think about what you had, and that was good, but you know, we kind of had to take a couple steps back, but look what we ended up with. And look what's gonna, you know, this is gonna be a generational thing. You know, the grandkids, they're gonna remember, you know, wow, I remember when it was brand new, you know, and they're gonna be able to take that for a long way. And that's huge for a community. That places like this tie you together. You have churches, places of gathering. You know, they bring you together. And anytime that happens, that's a good thing. So I appreciate the staff's work, the facilities folks. I appreciate the community's patience, because something like this doesn't happen overnight. But I really appreciate all the time and effort by our guys in facilities. And we hope that you all enjoy this. So I will, with that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Bowman.
Thank you, Judge. You know, I introduced them as my bosses, but they're really the leadership of the parish. And there's a difference. You have to have good leaders to progress on things like this, on projects. And with that, there is no bigger leader in this parish, I think. So, no offense, but in this area, she takes care of her people, and she's the driver behind parks and projects like that. So with that, I'd like to turn over to Ms. Sandy Trimmy, a police juror and my friend.
Okay, I'm not gonna get emotional. I'm gonna try not to. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, pro. He's a pro, I'm just telling you this. I'm just thankful for y'all being here today. This means so much to all of Ward 5, but not only all of Ward 5, but all over Louisiana, all over Texas. Many people come to Alligator Park because it's secluded, it's special, it's quiet. So if you say nothing, you just hear the birds. You might see an alligator, but you don't hear loud music, you don't hear a lot of cars, you don't have any 18-wheelers coming. When Alligator Park flooded in March of 2015, it had to be closed. And then it was reopened in August of 2016. And then, what happened was Hurricane Harvey. And Hurricane Harvey pretty well put the nail there, where it was, everything had to be started from scratch. And what I want to thank is, I don't know if she's Lacey. I want to thank you, Lacey Carter. She's over our park system, and our staff that works under these conditions. They were here every week. Once we finally got a contractor to come in, and I'm telling you, we had a really good contractor. And it took time. And I had people like Carlton call me and say, when's the Alligator Park going to get open? And I'd say, as soon as possible, but we're doing everything right. So everything from underneath the ground, from the sewage to the water lines to everything is all new. So you had to go from underneath and then tear down the old building, haul it off in dump trucks. I mean, you all saw the process. And it does take time, but all things work for good to those that love the Lord. And I do believe that we were able to come through this with grace. And just looking at it, it's amazing. And we have a lot to be proud of. So, yes, it took a long time. One of the things I did want to mention about our parks, we have some beautiful parks. Preon Lake Park, Hallbrook Park. We have Lorraine Bridge Park. We have the big park on the lake, in Lake Charles. And we also have Burnout Bridge area, too. But I really think that facilities like this sets us apart from other areas, because we have the areas that the people want to go to. And I'm not sure, but if our staff knows I do think that people have already rented this for how many months? A long time. So people have been calling and renting this facility way back. And so now all of those people, their family reunions, their birthday parties, their just those people that want to, the camper trailer people, all of those people now are ready to come in. And they're already booked to come in. So for the people of this area, those are the people that come in and make our lives change a little bit because it's for the good and not for any other reason, meeting new people. But when they came to Starks, they find different people. They find awesome people. They find people of God. They find Christian people. They find people that help their neighbors. They find all of the things that you're looking for in a wonderful community. And I can truthfully say, I love this community. I love all the people in this community. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. And I want to ask God to put a blessing on this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmy. Great passion. I use a quote from my mentors that I've worked for over the years. It's a good one, so I keep using it, but I give them credit. Government shouldn't be doing everything, but what we do, we should do very well. I think it is evident that the police jury across the parish, we do parks well. We really do. I keep calling when I go out to the park to tell my wife, this is the hidden gem. Well, I say that at every park we go to. But this is one of the hidden gems in the parish. So to make these things happen, you have to have a group of folks. You have to have our CGov channel to come out here and really take pictures during the progress and to film the groundbreaking and renovations. And you find no bigger piece of that makes this happen than our facility management department. Our director of facility management is Dean Kelly. Big old teddy bear, I'll call him, but he's a great guy. He has a great group of employees that they work together on, and they made this day happen. And he can tell you a lot more about this project than anyone. So with that, I'd like to turn over to Mr. Kelly.
Thanks for being here today. As you all know, Alligator Park is known for its peaceful, natural setting. Located on an oxbow from the Sabine River, it's connected through an old growth cypress swamp. It's honestly one of the more beautiful places in Calcasieu Parish. The facility here has served us very well, and it has become a favorite location for many of Calcasieu's families. I'm here for graduation, family reunions, weddings, all of the above. The old facilities served us very well for a long time. Miss Sandy knows that, and it's been a passion of hers for as long as I've known her to revitalize this park. It's taken an awful lot of planning. When I say years of planning, I don't know when Miss Sandy first started talking about
saving money.
renovating this place. When the project started in 2016, there was an expected completion date 240 days down the road. Project got started and went pretty well for a while. And we were ready for what we call substantial completion just before Hurricane Harvey hit. Well, when Hurricane Harvey came to visit, as you all know, we had one heck of a flood. That created an awful lot of rework. So the majority of what was built here was destroyed. That takes time to plan it, figure out how you're gonna deal with it. And there was, just one of the delays was 111 days long. For a project team, for folks who do what we do every day, it's real difficult to tell the public when they call and they say, what's taking so long? You know, you have to get way down in the details, but The whole group kept going at it, working at it every day. We saw some opportunity to make a few fine adjustments, and we did that. And I think we have a first-class facility here. I'll give you a couple of little interesting construction notes. The floor of the facility was installed 3 times because of the reoccurring floods that we had. So a lot of folks have asked along the way, well, why is the new building flooding? Well, the reality is the new building is built at a higher elevation than the old building was, and we had planned to be above what was then the natural occurring flooding events that people know around here. We've had 2 historic floods that were well beyond anything that had ever happened before. And you can't plan for those things. But when we were making some of the changes that we had to make, we adjusted what we could. We adjusted some of the floors and finishes so that we can accept some of that abuse, so to speak, over time. We hope that it never happens again. And I know a lot of our electeds have been working very hard with other agencies to try and make sure that there's processes in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. Along the same lines, the privacy fence that you see was installed twice. The RV slots, completely redone, 3 times. The fishing wharf that we built down here, it was 3 times. And so when you think about a project, like this, it might be a smaller part, but those delays are a major impact to a project. And I'd like to thank everybody that was involved, the guys that worked on it every day, for their resilience, and they never gave up. There were a lot of days folks came back to the office and they said, man, I don't know what we're gonna do. Things it's just with them. But they kept going at it, kept working at it, and here we are. This new pavilion is 1,600 square feet, and it'll accommodate 110 guests. The amenities for the RV camp were completely upgraded with electrical, water, and sewer connections. The new fishing wharf that we created down here. Those of you who've known this park for many years, you knew there wasn't a fishing wharf. But there was an elderly couple that a lot of us who service this park on a daily basis came to know, and they became a fixture down there. And it was a place that they liked to go and fish. They spent a lot of time in the park. Sometimes they caught some fish, sometimes they didn't. But when you talk to them, they didn't care about catching a fish. They were here because they enjoyed the natural serenity of this location. They enjoyed, just like Sandy said, if you're quiet, you get to hear the birds and see the squirrels and witness the wildlife. And in life, in the hustle and bustle of trying to make a living, it's hard to find those places of serenity. And for that couple, this park was that place of serenity, and that spot specifically had been one of their locations for many, many years where they'd spent a lot of special time together. And as a park staff, a facility staff, we learn from every interaction that we have with the community. And we try to increase the services that we provide and the time, and make the time that people spend in these parks better. So we created that little fishing wharf based off of that idea, that hopefully many more families, many more couples find not only that place, but other places within our park system to be that special spot for them, that holds a special spot in their heart. I'd like to give some recognition to the contractor, Fry Construction, also our design architects, the Vincent and Shao architects, and our staff. The facility management staff works hard every day. Our project team, Mr. Martin Beers, heads that up as our project manager. We have Mike Miller and Randall Higginbotham here. Those guys were on the ground every day, every morning, every evening, no matter what was going on. And construction projects like this don't follow the normal clock, so to speak, 8 to 5. It goes by calendar days. So it doesn't matter if it's Sunday, doesn't matter what day it is. When the project calls, we answer the call. And those guys are our boots on the ground, and I certainly appreciate everything that they do. Our operational staff, Ms. Lacey Carter, she is responsible for the operations and maintenance and the staff that works on that every day. And I'd certainly like to thank her and those folks for their efforts. The total project cost here was $1,250,000. So it sounds like a very large investment. But that investment will serve this community for many, many years. And I hope that all of you get many years of satisfied service and make many happy memories here. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Dane. Thank you.
When you hear Dean talk about the troubling times here during the renovations, can I say again, resilient? It's just amazing that we're to this day. And with that, I know you're tired of hearing all this talk, but I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank our electeds, and I want to thank the citizens of Calcasieu Parish for allowing us to bring this quality product to everyone. I hope everyone has a blessed day. With that, we do have refreshments inside, and I believe Tom is going to be getting some folks together for the ribbon cutting. Thanks again, and enjoy the park.